Today's drummers have a rich and varied history of rock and roll drumming to draw upon.
Here we go. Slate.
But the challenge to find new and more extreme ways to create music on the drums is as exciting as ever.
I saw a drummer on TV, and I was fascinated. It seemed to me like the guy was the boss in the band. He had control. He was commanding everything. He's the only one sitting down. Everybody else had to stand up. And he counted off the tune. Everybody's looking at him, and he played a ginormous drum fill over 16 tom-toms to kick off the song. And that's when drums appeared on my radar. A few days later, in my local village, there was a band performing live. I was 4 years old, and I held on to the guy's bass drum from the front. I felt the air pressure hit my chest when he played the kick drum, and I was blown away. It was everything, the combination of the physical aspect of playing the instrument, the volume, the power, the aesthetics of the instruments themselves. The shiny chrome, the big drums, all the moving parts, everything was moving and shaking, and it was very, very physical, very exciting, quite aggressive, and I was hooked. My day job is playing pretty traditional drums, and then I have this passion and hobby on the side that I like to indulge in, which is a very cutting-edge 21st century high-end approach to drumming. Because of my very first experience, I looked up at this guy playing. I could see his left foot on the hi-hat jump up and down. The cymbals were moving. The whole leg was stomping onto this thing. I could feel the bass drum. I knew his right foot was doing something. And then on top of that, quite literally, were the hands doing all these different things. So for me, it was a full physical experience. And I think because of that, my playing was always more involved with all four limbs. My playing, when I really indulge, involves a lot of independence, a lot of foot technique, and layers of rhythms that are much more involved, where each limb is not just playing one repetitive pattern on one instrument, but is playing a pattern that's orchestrated on multiple instruments, and also that is more complex rhythmically in itself. Sometimes all these patterns in different time signatures even. It's very intellectual. It's all about mathematics. You have to figure out how these patterns work together, where to place your beats, and how certain things loop, and where they meet up again, and so on. And it's quite a challenge. For me personally, in music or art or a conversation has to have multiple dimensions. I need a balance. If I miss sort of an intellectual component and complexity in music, it doesn't do it for me. And if it's too complex, it's also boring after a while for me. I need the right balance. And I think there is a unbelievable beauty in creating something that has both yin and yang, simplicity and complexity, structure and freedom. You know, drummers are always associated with the caveman and the clown, and it's a very different reality. Today, for the first time in the history of the instrument, it becomes apparent that playing the drums is a very complex thing to do. Because now people are starting to involve all four limbs more equally. And a lot of it in the high-end world of drumming is all about complexity and finding that balance.
It's over 50 years since Moon, Bonham and Baker thrust rock drumming into the spotlight. Half a century since Hal Blaine stamped his signature sound onto the sun-drenched pop of California. And Bill Ward dropped the bombshell beats that would stoke generations of die-hard metalheads. From jaw-dropping virtuosi to effortlessly cool groovers, the story of rock and roll drumming boasts a rich and varied cast. And still, the beat goes on.